Good morning everyone. So today we will be reading about new chapter, that is walls and masonry works. So in this chapter we will be reading about what do you mean by walls, what are the purposes of walls, what are the classifications of the walls, and as per the materials of the construction, what are the classifications of the walls, what do you mean by partitions walls and their suitability and uses, and what are the different terms of brick masonry, meaning and necessity of the bond, what are the different terms of stone masonry. So in this chapter we will be reading all of these articles. So first we will be reading about wall. So what do you mean by wall? So all of have been seen in our houses, in our offices, or in any of our buildings. Wall has been constructed. Okay, so we can say that wall is a structural element which divides the space into two spaces and also provides the safety and shelter. Walls are also built to partition living area into different parts. They impart privacy and protection against the temperature, rain, and theft. Generally, the walls are differentiated as the two types, outer walls and inner walls. Outer walls gives an enclosure to the house for the shelter, and inner walls helps to partition the enclosure into the required number of rooms. Inner walls are also called as partitions walls or interior walls, and outer walls are also called as exterior walls. So all of have been known walls. Walls are mainly built to divide a room, and it also protects against the temperature, rain, sun, and it have been differentiated as two types. There are outer walls and inner walls. Outer walls is called as exterior walls and inner walls are called as partition walls. And also we can say that outer walls gives an enclosure to the house for the shelter, for the privacy, and inner walls helps to partition the room or the required number of rooms. So these are all about the walls. So what do you mean by purposes of walls? How we will or why we will purpose a wall? So the purposes of the wall in buildings are to support the roofs, floors and the ceilings, to enclose a space as part of the building envelope along with the roof to give the building's form, to provide the shelter and security. Okay, so we can say that we have to purpose a wall to support the roofs, floors and the ceilings. And also we can say that the purpose of the wall is to provide the shelter and security, and to enclose a space as a part of the building envelope along with the roof to give the building form. So these are all about purposes of the wall. Next, coming about the classifications of the walls. So first is load bearing walls, non-load bearing walls, retaining walls. So there are three types of walls. So first we will be reading about load bearing walls. So all of you have been seen, I have shown here the diagram of the load bearing walls here. This is the load bearing walls, okay, and the load bearing wall is a structural element. It carries the weight of a house from the roof and upper floors all the way to the foundation, and it supports the structural members like beams, slabs, walls on above floors above. It is designed to carry the vertical load. Load bearing walls also carry their own weight. It cannot or move or demolish a load bearing wall. So we can say that you can see I have already shown the images of the load bearing walls here. So load bearing walls carries the weight of all the houses from the roof and upper floors all the way to the foundations. Okay, it carries the weight of the house or the roof or the upper floors to the foundations, and also it supports the structural members like beam, slab, walls and all the ground floors, first floors, many floors it can support, and it cannot demolish or it cannot move the load bearing walls, and load bearing walls also carry their own weight. So we can say that these are all about the load bearing walls. So next that we will reading about, that is non-load bearing walls. Non-load bearing walls means it is type of a partition walls. Here you can see that I have already shown here the diagram. This is a non-load bearing walls. It is a type of a partition walls. A wall which does not help the structure to stand up and holds up only itself is known as non-load bearing wall. And this type of a wall does not support the floor or roof loads above them, which means it won't carry any of the weight of the structure above it, and it is a framed structure. Partition walls inside a building are the best example of it, where these are constructed only to divide the rooms, and these walls does not possess any structural integrity. The non-load bearing wall can be removed or demolished without affecting the building structure. It can demolish a wall. So we can say that non-load bearing wall is also known as a partition wall, and it does not help the structure to stand up and hold up only itself. This is also known as non-load bearing wall. And non-load bearing wall can demolish a wall. It can also be removed without affecting the building structure. And the best example of the non-load bearing wall, we can say it as partition wall. And mainly the non-load bearing wall, that is a partition wall, does not support floor or the roof loads above them. And also we can say that, which means it won't carry any of the weight of the structure above it. So it is a frame structure. And also we can say that it cannot be removed or demolished or break without affecting the building structure. So next is that is retaining walls. The walls which is built to maintain the unequal level of the ground on its two faces is called as retaining wall. The wall which is constructed around the plot below ground level to retain the soil at one end and landsliding after the earthwork on site are called as retaining wall. Retaining wall can be made up of RCC. This you can see, this is of the retaining wall, okay, and it has no equal surfaces. You can see the wall which is built to maintain the unequal level of the ground on its two faces is called as retaining wall. We can say that the surfaces or the ground surfaces, it does not have any unequal level, equal level on its two faces, that is known as retaining wall, and it is made up of, that the retaining wall is made up of RCC. Okay, so next we will be reading about, that is materials of construction. So in this materials of the construction, how the walls have been made, in which material the walls have been constructed. So in this we will read about that. So first is, that is stones. So there are four types: stones, bricks, composite masonry and cement concrete masonry. So we will be reading about first, that is stones. Stones used in the good masonry should be well seasoned, hard, tough and uniform in texture, and should be free from cavities, cracks, etc. So we can say that the stones is the material of the construction for the wall, and it is used in the good masonry. Before using it, it should be well seasoned and it should be cut in a regular shape, uniform in texture, and it should be free from the cavities or any cracks. So we can use that stone as our materials of the construction in our wall. So next is, that is bricks. Construction of bricks units bonded together with mortar is known as brick masonry, and the strength of the brick work primarily depends upon the quality and the strength of the brick, the type of the mortar and the method of the bonding adopted in construction. So we can say that the bricks are one of the material of construction of the wall, and the construction of the brick units bonded together with mortar is known as brick masonry, and the strength of the brick mainly depends on the quality, strength of the brick, and what are the type of the mortar it has been using, and the method of the bonding adopted in construction. So we can say that this is the best quality of the brick. So we can use that brick as our material of construction of the wall. So next is composite masonry and cement concrete masonry. So next, in the next slide, we'll be reading about these two materials. Thank you.